Hey Libra, Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in your September 2025 love and family reading. All right, Libra, let's open up your energy field and take a look at what September has in store for you. Bottom of the deck here, we have the Chaser. Now, you may be dealing with an individual, or perhaps there is a part of your own wounds where there are codependencies that have taken place, maybe even fears of abandonment. And I feel like you've done a lot of work on yourself. You've done a lot of self-development, self-healing. Perhaps you've even connected to therapists, mentors, guides. Yeah, there's the card of work, the Eight of Pentacles. You put work into yourself, or even a marriage or a partnership or a relationship between you and a family member. And I see here that you are receiving a gift, quite literally for some of you as we approach Libran season. So happy birthday to those of you sun sign Libras out there. We have the Five of Cups in reverse at the bottom of the deck. If I'm going to see the Five of Cups, I'm glad to see it in reverse, because this is a turning point where past pain recedes, hope emerges. Some of you have gone through a loss. You've gone through a period of disappointment, perhaps broken heart energy, maybe even a bit of forgiveness or bitterness may have been a part of your healing journey. And I see that you've allowed yourself space to grieve. You've allowed yourself space to mourn. This could be a physical death for some of you. Maybe a family member or a loved one has crossed over. But I'm also seeing here endings and beginnings when it comes to romantic partnerships and relationships. So this is about past pain receding, new hope emerging through new life, new beginnings. And you have a couple of aces here in your reading, which all aces represent gifts. And the gift is being handed to you, Libra. It is up to you to unwrap it. So what are the key themes showing up for you in September? We have separation. Now, I feel like this is you separating yourself from anyone that disrupts your peace and harmony. You've done a lot of work on healing and recovering, and you may be putting a boundary up when it comes to your own sacred space. And I feel like there's no harm in that. You are allowed to separate your energy when it doesn't feel in harmony. Now, there's a difference between avoidance and there's a difference between boundaries. And you may have been dealing with people who could have been avoidant. Perhaps they have emotionally disconnected from you, or perhaps there have been times where you and a family member or you and a loved one didn't see eye to eye. But you being a Libra, you try to see all sides of the situation, and it just feels like there's someone in the past or something of the past where you had a difficult time, or they had a difficult time here seeing through an illusion or seeing through some sort of pain. But that's what you are moving on from, because you have the hot air balloon. Now, I am seeing multiple hot air balloons, even though there's only one on this card. So some of you could have like a hot air balloon festival in your hometown. Perhaps this is your sign from spirit. It could even be showing up on a billboard, or it could be showing up on TV. So take that as your sign from spirit that you have grown, that you have learned a lot on your journey thus far, and your heart and your energy is expanding. You've gone through a period of reining everything in, going through a bit of hermiting, but I feel like your energy now is expanding, where you're reaching new heights. You're connecting to new people, perhaps new besties. You may be strengthening and solidifying existing relationships. But I'm also getting here someone spreading their wings and evolving. This could be a child of yours. If you are a parent, someone could be entering the next level of their own growth. Maybe someone is entering from middle school to high school. Perhaps someone is going off to college. I feel like there's growth here in multiple relationships in your life. This is about preparing for union, preparing for a connection here with someone new. And Libra, the hot air balloon is going to be your sign that you could be meeting someone within, I want to say, even a week or two of seeing this sign. And it could even be today, right here, right now on your screen. You could meet someone within that 2-week marker. And this is a new phase. I am getting birthday vibes for many of you. It's going to be around your birthday. And it could even be that you have a date, you talk to someone, and maybe you've always wanted to ride in a hot air balloon. Someone could even be a pilot. Someone could be traveling. I am getting the energy of flying or the air element. Maybe someone that you are connecting to is also an air sign, or they have strong air placements. They could ride a motorcycle. They could ride a bike, something where it feels like you can feel the wind in your hair is the message I'm getting. Now you have talking, you have communication coming through. You are going to receive a message. I am getting a message from someone of the past. Now, this could be the energy here of a loved one that's crossed over. There could be a sign or a message that shows up for you. It could be through it could be through a rainbow. It could be through an animal. It could be through a song on the radio. So do pay attention. If you have a loved one in spirit, they are going to send you a sign that they are supporting you, that they are still very much in your heart alive. And for others of you, you could be talking to someone significant, or they will play a significant role in your life. You may be getting to know this individual. You may be taking your relationship to the next level. If you haven't talked to perhaps a family member in quite some time, or if someone has been out of town, maybe they live at a distance, that could be that plane energy where someone could be coming in and staying near you, or maybe even staying in your home. This could be a family member or a sibling. I feel like you are also picking up the phone here. You're talking, you're connecting to your family, you're texting, FaceTiming. This is about text, calls, and emails. So I definitely see a lot of communication showing up here for you in the coming month, Libra. So let's look at the heart of the matter. What is the present energy? What's at the center of your love and family life right now? Your current emotional patterns and even relationship energy? We have the Eight of Pentacles. Now, some of you are putting a lot of work into your own self-development, your own crafts, your own hobbies, your own projects, perhaps your career. So I feel like there are labors of love showing up here with a hint of responsibility. So some of you may have children that you are taking care of, or perhaps you've taken care of elderly parents, or you just have a lot going on, because the 8 energy can be the material world, but it's also about control. So you are finding this self-control within you, where you're balancing up your material world with your spiritual well-being. And so there's that beautiful blend where you are starting to see the evidence of the work that you have been doing internally here, matching your outer world when it comes to relationships. You could meet someone, for those of you that may be wanting to connect and talk and maybe even take a relationship to the next level, or if you are single, this could be putting yourself out there. I feel like you could meet this individual while you are participating in creating something or doing something you love. Maybe you're taking a class or a workshop. You could be going to the gym. Maybe you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind, but it feels like there's an energy of focusing on the material or focusing on what you went to this event for, but it's like there's a sidetrack type of energy where someone talks to you in line, and before you know it, 15 minutes has passed and you've been sitting there connecting and talking, and maybe you exchange information. I feel like there's definitely some beautiful interactions taking place here for you. Now, for those of you that are in a relationship, you may have felt a bit separated lately with the separation card. Perhaps there's a bit of uncertainty here about where this relationship is going, or this could be you and your partner dealing with something external outside of the relationship that's caused you to feel a bit uncertain or even hesitant. And it may have to do with something in your material world, maybe someone's career, someone's job, someone's work. And I see here with the challenge, you have the moon. So the moon is shadows. It can also be the subconscious, but the moon is also our intuitive knowing. And there are things that you can't quite see that spirit is working behind the scenes to bring into your world. This is partnerships and connections, but it's also blessings and miracles. So yes, there may be a bit of hesitancy or even uncertainty in how something is going to unfold for you, but it feels like talking through the situation with a trusted loved one is going to help you. But also, I see those of you that may be connecting with someone new, you may be getting to know them a little bit, and you may want to put in the work to get to know them. And I feel like you are not losing yourself in the process. Maybe that was something that has happened in the past with that codependency energy, Libra. Perhaps you felt like you started to lose yourself, where you didn't always focus on your own hobbies and your own labors of love because you were over giving, overcompensating, and taking care of everybody around you. I feel like this is your time to shine. It really is, especially as we approach Libran season. So let's take a look here at the foundation. This is the subconscious influence here. What's deeply influencing love and family connections, Libra? This is past wounds or beliefs about your family that shape your experience today. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords can be betrayal. It can be rock bottom. It can be a tragedy. It can be some form of ending or loss that has occurred in your past. And subconsciously, it's still influencing you today. Now, when this Ten of Swords shows up, I feel like you are being guided consciously, which we'll talk about what's showing up in your conscious awareness here in just a moment. But consciously, I also feel like you are being guided to step outside the comfort zone. And it comes from this 10, because 10s break down to a 1, which is a new beginning, but it requires courage. It requires you to really believe in yourself. This also is you stepping into your power and knowing that endings and beginnings are part of life. And even though something may have not turned out the way that you had hoped, the way that you had wanted, that the universe never tires of giving us second chances. We have the ability to tap into infinite abundance. That's what the 8 represents. Now, the 8 is the infinity symbol, and that's your starting heart energy, is that 8 of Pentacles. So you are putting yourself out there in some way. You are wanting to open yourself up to the next level of your love story. And even though there's been some sort of tragedy or some sort of past pain, I feel like you've heavily been working on not falling into old default programming or mechanisms such as depression or anxiety or not trusting in love or telling yourself a story that you're going to be alone or whatever the limitations are that we sometimes get caught up in our minds, because this is a mental energy. I feel like you are working on releasing. You're working on letting go. As I've mentioned, you have a couple of aces here. So there is closure here regarding a situation that you've gone through. Now, you may have even seen in your family connections a divorce, or perhaps you have witnessed a tragedy or a loved one leaving the home, abandoning you. This could be a father, it could be a mother. Perhaps someone was emotionally absent or physically absent. It has impacted your view on love, but I feel like you are becoming more aware of what this 10 of Swords has really, how it's really shaped your life and how you can move through it with more ease, with more understanding and acceptance. Now, what is in the past position here? You have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is someone who feels at times like the rug gets pulled out from underneath her, and she loses her sense of balance. She loses her sense of stability because she is the Queen of Pentacles, which means she is the Queen of stability here, the Queen of the material world. And I feel like there may have been a smothering type of energy where you may have felt smothered. Perhaps someone around you has felt smothered by the overgiving to some extent. Sometimes she can be the mother that is very overbearing, very controlling. But I see here with this Queen of Pentacles, this is someone or a part of yourself that is healing the root chakra, healing the base, also known as the root chakra, which is about our safety, our security, our sense of belonging. So there may have been some triggers or some trip ups regarding your sense of safety, but I feel like this is something that you are aware of here, and you are talking to maybe someone about this, or you may even be connecting and forgiving someone who may have hurt you, whether it shows up in the physical. Maybe this is through an apology by them, for them, or it could be that this person is no longer in your physical world, but there is some form of acceptance here, and it's allowing you to step out of your comfort zone and not fold back into the old ways of doing things, because Spirit says there's a lot that you have yet to experience. There's a lot of love that you have yet to put out into the world, and that's where the Hermit shows up here. Because this is your higher self. This is your conscious energy. You have the Hermit. Now, September is Virgo season, a big chunk of it, until we roll into your season at the end of the month. But the Hermit is Virgo's energy, which can be about introspection. It can be about you taking a deep look at your reality, your partnerships, but it's also about you looking within. And when this Hermit shows up, I feel like a lot of you have taken that time to go within and do a bit of soul searching, but you are ready to put yourself out there again. Maybe you've withdrawn from people, or you have felt lonely. Some of you at times have even felt, like you again have been rejected or abandoned, but you're seeing things from a higher perspective. That's that hot air balloon. And you may have had to go your own way, or perhaps you've had to make a difficult choice here, but ultimately you are wiser because of what you've gone through. Many people look up to you, Libra. I feel like you are a motivator. You are someone that people want to be near, gravitate towards, because you do hold this wisdom. You do hold the knowledge because you've gone through it. There's some experience that you have here. And I feel like you are not the same Libra that you were, 10 months ago, even 10 weeks ago. It feels like there's been a lot of personal changes that you have endured. Now, collectively, Virgo is currently in the South Node, which can bring up a lot of our wounds, a lot of our fears, perfectionism. It can even bring up some uncomfortable emotions. But I see that you're not avoiding them. You're not numbing them. You're getting real with yourself, and you have the skill set now to deal with things in a different way than you have in the past. And a lot of you are opening yourself up. You're coming out of hibernation, if you will. And you may be focusing more on the things that you love. You may be putting more energy into, connecting to others instead of kind of drawing back that energy here. Now, what's showing up in the near future, the next steps, opportunities, or experiences that are unfolding for you in matters of love and family? You have the Ace of Pentacles here. So this is the start of a new life. Something you can see, something that is physical, something that is tangible. Now, this could certainly be a positive reward, a positive gift coming in, because again, all aces are gifts. But I feel like this is because you have done the work consciously. When that Hermit shows up for you, it means that whatever has been subconscious, because that moon is here, whatever has been hidden in the shadows, you are addressing, and you are doing the deep work to say, okay, I am able to close this chapter of my life. I am able to open up to a new beginning here with a new individual, or perhaps some of you could even be moving. You may be relocating. There could even be a chapter that has closed where you get to release a responsibility that you once had, a role or a persona that had once played out in your life. It feels like you get to enter this new phase, this new chapter. And if this is a new love connection, this does feel solid. It feels like something that has the stability that you are wanting. It has the trustworthiness. It has the depth. Let's say that it has the depth. It's not just the physical, but it has the potential to be something quite deep and potentially long lasting. So Libra, let's look at that beautiful heart of yours. We have here the Queen of Cups. So this is how you see yourself in relationships right now. The role that you are playing consciously. I feel like you are opening yourself up to love. The Queen of Cups is someone who is very nurturing, very loving, very intuitive and empathic. Now, she could be a caregiver or in a caregiver role. And I see here that you have been tending to your own self-love and self-care. You are separating yourself from anything that drains your cup. As you can see, she is pouring out. So she is tending to her own inner garden. So she is able to give to others. And I see that that is a priority for you at this time, is to nurture and take care of yourself. Now, you are also someone who fosters genuine connections. You are a lover. You are ruled by Venus. And I see that love is very important to you. You don't want superficiality. You don't want surface level. You want to talk about the sun and the moon and the stars and life and traveling. And you want to experience life's luxuries. And you want to understand why someone, is the way that they are. You want to go deep with someone. And if there is an individual in your life that you can't seem to break that barrier. It feels like there may be some choices that you are faced with, okay? Because you don't want to settle for less than you deserve. And I feel like you've made a promise to yourself, Libra. You've made a promise that you are going to continue choosing you, that you will never abandon you. That's what this abandonment, I believe, is all about, because you felt that heavily before. Perhaps you have overgiven, or you've numbed or escaped. Some of you have lost yourself in some sort of dynamic and you're choosing to not abandon, but it doesn't mean that you have to be alone for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that you have to separate yourself or keep people or your spouse or a family member at arm's length. It means that you can still choose to honor yourself by participating in things that you love and enjoy, as well as opening yourself up and being vulnerable with others. There can be a balance. Even though, that's something that Libran energy struggles to maintain that balance, because sometimes it can feel like it's all or nothing. But I do feel like you have the ability to love and embrace your love in many different forms. So let's look at your environmental influences here. How your family, how your loved ones or partners are impacting your situation here. This can also be the support. It can be the energies around you. You have the Page of Cups. Now, some of you, this may be your own children. Pages can represent children. It can also represent people who may wear their heart on their sleeve. The Page of Cups can be the beginning of a new relationship. So you have the Talking card here. So there certainly could be someone that is showing up that is new, someone that you're wanting to get to know, but instead of slapping a label on it, instead of taking a look at it immediately and saying, okay, this is my forever or it's not, I feel like you are being asked to open up and build something that feels more respectable. It feels more in depth. It feels more trustworthy. And you can slowly open up to this if this is something that you want, because this is a love offer. It feels like this is a playful type of vibe that you have with someone. If this is a romantic love, now this could also be you connecting to your children, your grandchildren, or a playful energy around you where you may be reuniting with a partner or a spouse. You may be finding playful activities or hobbies to enjoy with each other. This is something new, though. It feels like it's lighthearted and playful instead of stressful and heavy. So I love the Page of Cups showing up here in your environment. Now, I'm also getting someone around you who could be a bit emotionally immature. Okay, emotionally immature due to age, maybe due to inexperience, or due to not healing their traumas. This could be a grown adult. Sometimes we have, 75-year-olds who still very much have some wounds that they haven't known how to embrace since childhood. And I see that there could be one person here who is taking things very personally. They may be someone who could even be a people pleaser at times, or maybe they've missed the signs. They've missed the signs that you have given them in some way. So just be mindful. I feel like this person, not to make excuses, but really they don't know any better, or they don't know how to fix or heal or evolve in the ways that maybe you do, Libra. And perhaps you are the mentor. You could be the spiritual seeker that they may be searching out for. All right, so let's look at your hopes and fears, what you deeply desire when it comes to love, when it comes to family bonds, but also you may fear losing. Now, this can be our vulnerabilities, our commitments, our independence, even trust issues. And that looks to be what one of the fears could be, is a trust issue, because there may have been secrets in the past. With that 10 of Swords, it can be secrets that have caused you to feel let down, maybe stabbed in the back, because the High Priestess is here. The High Priestess can be secretive. She can withhold, she can detach when she feels like the energy isn't quite sitting right. When she feels something is off, she detaches. Now, the hope is that you are able to trust your inner knowing and build relationships that are trustworthy, but they're also spiritual in nature. It feels like you want the type of dynamic where things flow between you and this individual, where you don't have to hide who you are, but you still have your sense of independence. You can still be that spiritual, witchy, awesome individual that you are without feeling like you are being judged or criticized or being someone that you're not. I feel like the High Priestess energy is showing up here to remind you that you can be emotional, as in feeling your feelings, not just thinking through those feelings, Libra. And that can be difficult sometimes to do as an air sign. We have to drop into our bodies. We have to feel our emotions instead of trying to logically figure out why we are feeling certain ways, but just to allow ourselves to go with the flow of emotion. Now, I'm also getting here, some of you are opening yourself up to becoming more vulnerable, but you may feel a lot, and you could even be picking up on energies that are not yours. Okay. You may notice that your mood shifts or changes when you are around a certain person. You may be heavily influenced. So if that is you, you may want to work on your psychic boundaries. You may want to throw up a shield of protection, because I do feel like you can sometimes become emotionally burdened by all of the energy coming in at you, especially with that Queen of Cups. So if you live with certain people, especially people who are not emotionally capable of regulating their own emotions or their own nervous system, try not to take on that energy as your own. All right, what's the outcome here? The likely trajectory. If you continue moving forward, you have the Ace of Swords. Now, the Ace of Swords is the Ace of truth, the Ace of communication, the Ace of understandings. So I feel like there's this newfound sense of clarity. You're cutting through the uncertainty here, because that is a bit of a fog. That's a bit of a challenge. But with this Ace of Swords, you can slice through anything. And even though we're talking a bit about, balancing out the head and the heart, try to do your best to let your emotions flow through you and honor whatever emotions are coming up, because sometimes we tend to suppress, or we don't want to feel a certain way, or we don't allow ourselves to fully honor that wave of emotion. But if you remember that emotions are waves, and they're going to crash to the shore and they will dissipate. Emotions are not here to stay. And it's very rarely where you'll find yourself continuously staying in some sort of emotional turbulence. And some of you, that's where you've been with that Five of Cups. And this could also be something worth looking into, maybe even with a doctor or a health professional. If you have found yourself sitting in a certain heavy emotion for quite some time, such as anxiety or depression, or if you felt numb, or whatever heavier emotions you have dealt with, even though I see a huge turning point, I do see you lifting that energy with the hot air balloon. I feel like the Ace of Swords is you getting honest with yourself and with others, and even connecting to the divine, because this can be crown chakra here, where you're opening up that crown and you're trusting that spirit has a plan, and you're taking action towards unwrapping here the gifts that are being offered. I like that here for you, Libra. Now, let's take a look at your soul's truth. What does your soul's truth want you to know at this time? What do you need to focus on at this time? What am I afraid of losing? As we grow, change, and transform our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was to make room for something that will be. If you were to take the big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? What if it was a big fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? Today's soul action, Libra, name that fear. The moon energy, name that fear and look at the worst case scenario. Find a solution. There's the Ace of Swords. Take your power back by being certain of who you are and where you are going. Queen of Cups, you know that you are a loving, intuitive, vibrant individual. That's never going to change. And you are taking your power back by creating boundaries, separating yourself from energies that steal your power, your joy. Today's mantra, I move forward knowing I am powerful beyond measure. I am loved, I am safe, and I belong. Beautiful energy here. All right, Libra, let's get a message from your crystal spirits. And at this time, if you can safely do so, please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in from your solar plexus chakra, your belly area. Big inhale through the nose. Hold it for the count of 3, 2, 1, and release through your mouth with a nice deep sigh. And with your eyes still closed, tune into your third eye chakra, the area between your eyebrows and your forehead region. And I want you to imagine the first the first crystal or gemstone that shows up in your mind's eye. Now, this could be a crystal that you are familiar with, maybe even know the name of. Your crystal could show up as a specific shape, size, or color. Your crystal could be giving off frequencies of unconditional love, strength, clarity. And if you need a moment, just pause the video and come back when you are ready. And for those of you that would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, all you need to do is drop your crystal or gemstone or animal. If you happen to see an animal, drop it in the comment section below. I will enter you into the free reading giveaway where I draw a winner around the first of the month and post right back here on the community tab. All right, you have one of my personal favorites here, Moonstone. Moonstone is the energy of intuition, insight, inner wisdom, and inner voice. What is your intuition telling you about another person or even yourself? Have you been dismissing it because you feel you can't justify this inner conviction? Moonstone Spirit is here to let you know that you aren't crazy. You are picking up on information that can't be perceived by the five senses, and you are meant to listen to it. Now is the time to hone your intuition through meditation, which awakens the ability to receive messages from the universe. Your relationships will all benefit from your willingness to be honest with yourself and to listen to your intuition, your first and primary sense. Now, that's that high priestess showing up here for you. Meditating with Moonstone amplifies our knowings by reconnecting us to the moon, the tides, and the mystery of the divine feminine, which is actually showing up here a lot in your energy. It brings us back to our intuition and draws our attention to the cycles of life, from maiden to mother to crone. Moonstone is a wonderful stone for using during pregnancy for those of you that may be wanting to start a family, or perhaps you have an adult child who is wanting to start a family or someone that you know, but it's also great to work with during your dream work, your dream state. Some of you could be manifesting through your dreams. You may even be connecting to the energy of an incoming partner. For those of you that may be single, you may be preparing for union. You could be dreaming about this individual that you've never met yet in the physical. And for those of you that may already be partnered here, there may be some energies that are showing up within you regarding your own femininity that are reminding you here to come back to yourself, because that could help you in your partnerships. All of them, not just romantic, right? This is family dynamics. This is connecting to your friends. And because that Hermit is here, Libra, because of something that has happened in the past, perhaps some sort of trust has been betrayed, or something that you had wanted with every fiber of your being, it didn't turn out as you had thought or as you expected. It may have put you in a bit of that Hermit mode where perhaps you've kept people out. And I feel like the gifts that are showing up here, especially this Ace of Pentacles that is showing up in your near future position, tells me that you are ready to let people in again. You are ready to open yourself up to vulnerability. You will not be abandoned. Why? Because you will never abandon yourself. Libra, that is what I have for you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to drop your crystal or power animal in the comment section below. And if you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video.